Good morning. It's 7:03 on this Thursday, January 7th. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Well, hello everybody and welcome. A Thursday morning, a little bit cloudy and overcast here in the Cedar City, but a little bit on the cool side anyway. We welcome you to our program, and we're happy to be on the air for Bates Ford, 1673 West Main, the dealer that'll trade for anything that don't eat. It's been 3 weeks since I've seen you fellas, but we're glad, of course, to have Paul Tubbs and Ronnie Kelly back with us to talk about Bates Ford this morning. How are you?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning. Everything okay?
Going well, well.
Well, what's happened since I saw you? A lot.
We've had a lot. We had a we had the best year Bates Ford's ever had last year. We were blessed beyond measure. Our dealership done exceptional for 2020 and looking forward to 2021. We've got some great things going. That new F-150, Ronnie Kelly sold a local business owner that 2021 F-150 yesterday. That's just a remarkable truck. I was astonished when that's the first time I've really sat in one and actually looked around, and that thing is unbelievable. The screen is like a huge iPad, and we've got things like that. Then we've gotten 3 of the 2021 little Bronco Sports that's come in here in the last week. So we've got them out ready. We've sold one of the little Bronco Sports, but we've got 3 right now. One of them's really kind of cool. It's that Area 51 gray it's kind of loaded out, and there's a red one. So we've gotten some inventory, kind of getting. I think the Ford's starting to ship vehicles back, so that's kind of helped our new car inventory a lot.
Yeah. Well, Ronnie, I know you're glad to hear that, and it's nice to sell a brand new one yesterday.
Oh yes, it was very nice to sell, especially a 21. You know, like Paul said, everyone was kind of looking at it. There's a lot of nice features on that truck that's very nice, the good
thing... Are you excited about this? He is?
Yes, I'm very excited about it. So, and the good thing about it, he's a great customer that buys vehicles all the time. And like Paul said, we got inventory that's starting to come in, and it's a great thing, but also we need a lot of used inventory. We had a great year. We thank every customer that came to Bates Ford for service, for sales, and we want to thank our staff for being there, even though we had the pandemic and everything was going on in 2020, and all of our staff done well. And I want to thank Paul for being hands-on on everything. A lot of times, you get a general manager, overseer, they out different ways, but he's hands-on. And that's a great thing for Bates Ford.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've always said one big happy family.
That's us.
For the most part.
Yeah.
And, well, of course, while you're considering whether new or pre-owned, Ronnie and the sales team would love to see you, but you still got the cheapest oil change in town.
We do. We're still running our oil change special, $24.95 up to 5 quarts. And then, of course, also we've got what I feel like is probably the cheapest battery. It's $134.95 for most vehicles, and most of them we install for free. And, of course, always we meet or beat anybody's price on tires. And when we do your oil change, I say every time we don't just slap oil and filter in it. We make sure we do a quality, thorough inspection, look at your brakes, your tires, your battery, and try to make sure everything's roadworthy and ready to roll.
Well, really, you have a lot going for you there, and I think you've tried to make it as much as possible a one-stop place.
Yeah, I mean, that's our goal, is to make sure that we're taking care of everybody in the community, and, whether they think of purchasing a vehicle or they're servicing their vehicle, we want them to try to think of Bates Ford first and make sure that we're treating them like family.
Well, the greatest year ever for Bates Ford.
It was.
You had a good year too, I take it.
I had a great year, yes, sir.
Well, then you're looking for more this year.
Looking forward for another great year.
Yeah. You have some maybe $10,000 or so pre-owned cars you'd like to get rid of?
That's what I wanted to talk about also. Those cars under $10,000, we're running a little light on them right now, and we want to ask everybody, if you got anything to sell, you want to turn into cash, bring it in, because we need those trade-ins right now.
Well, if you need them right now, they might be worth a little more.
Yeah, they'll be worth a little bit more, and I know one thing that, our staff will put more money in cars right now because we don't have them. If you don't have them to sell, you got to pick them up somewhere. You got to buy them from the sale. That we would love to have trade-ins from our customers, because that make us, we have a story behind that car. Yeah. So if you have anything you want to sell, please, bring it down to Bates Ford. We'll turn it into cash.
You were mentioning something about a TV commercial or something as I walked in this morning.
Yeah, we did. I mean, we're trying to take I know this virus is amped up, and we're trying to take every precaution. We've actually kind of mandated the mask deal in the service department because it's kind of a closed-in area, so we want to try to take care of our employees and our customers. But also, we had the dealership disinfected and done all that. We're trying to stay ahead of it. Unfortunately, these times are crazy. Schools, kids home, and all that. I know but we're trying to keep not only our customers safe but also our employees.
Well, as you still playing a little golf?
I did. I played this weekend. Froze about first 4 holes, but I got acclimated to it after a little bit. That's my getaway.
Well, Ronnie's got a different one. You don't play much golf.
Don't play much golf,
but you are active in a lot of other things
in the community
and elsewise.
Doing a lot of things, to help kids. Matter of fact, tomorrow we'll be feeding about 20 kids. That's unfortunate. So we put some things together. So. In the community, we're doing things in the church and other places. And
the good news, like the city my son, my 8-year-old, he plays city league basketball, and they're still letting it play. We got a game tonight, so that'll be interesting. Me trying to rope a bunch of little 8-year-olds in basketball up at the city, so that'll be fun as well.
Well, we say that just to remind everybody you're very involved in the community. Tony Bates has been for years, and the rest of you are too. And it's all this waiting for you at 1673 West Main Bates Ford, the dealer to trade for anything you don't eat. Thank y'all. We'll see you next Thursday.
Thank you.
Okay. We are 10 minutes after the hour. It is a Thursday morning. It's the first Thursday of January. And I have a member of the Lebanon City Council who is going to be with us this morning after she greets our friends from Bates Ford on their way out. But we want to welcome Camille Burdine from the Lebanon City Council. And Camille, good morning to you.
Good morning. I told those guys I was on the way to see them. I need an oil change today and a tire rotation. They have helped me in buying a car this year and getting new tires on several cars. So I'm a big proponent of Bates Ford.
Well, how's everything been going for you? It's been a while since I've talked to you.
It has. I'm 2 years in on being a city council person, and I am enjoying it. I think we've accomplished a lot the last couple years, and I have great hope for this year.
Well, I have to ask because I cannot keep up with the numbers. I've written a number down here, but you tell me if I'm right. Ward what?
3.
I wrote it.
Ward 3.
Well, I have trouble remembering which one I'm in sometimes. But Joey Carmack is a representative for our area. And, of course, Ward 3 does include, I believe, the Square, maybe Cumberland University, that area.
It does,
yeah.
All the way down. I mean, we're getting further and further down on 231 south. So it goes as far over as Maddox Simpson in some areas. And then, like I said, we're almost getting to Barton's Creek.
Are you hearing much from your constituents these days?
I'm really not. It's been interesting, the, I guess, calls I do get. I've gotten more calls on cats and dogs. And, a lot of my constituents, I think, are very trusting of what we're doing in this city. I've got a lot of businesses in my ward too, so a lot of the complaints that or suggestions I get in my ward have to do with commercial properties and businesses. And
well, I got to just say one thing. Years ago, and I mean a long time ago, we every once in a while, and this is almost ancient history here on the radio, but we would open up phone lines for people to make suggestions or things that might be needed, and the thing I always get was roaming dogs and needing public restrooms on the square.
I still get
some things never change.
No, they don't, and you hate that they're still talking about it over the years. But with the population of the animals, we've got a lot of animal lovers around here. We've got a lot of farmland, so it tends to attract our animals. There are no ordinances, let me say this on the radio, concerning cats. But we have some great nonprofits in our area that are taking care of, spaying and neutering cats and dogs. So I ask that our constituents take advantage of that.
Right. As far as your area is concerned, is there one thing you feel needs addressing that's way and above others at the top of the list, or you got a multiple list that it'd be several all in one here?
I have some hopes and dreams for Ward 3, and I think we're slowly getting there. Government does take a little bit longer, especially if you're getting government funds to help with some of these projects. So I have learned a lot that it does take some time. My biggest hope and dream really for our downtown area is to really look at our infrastructure for stormwater and see if there isn't something we can do to help mitigate the amount of water we get there and where it goes. Now, granted, I live right in the heart of our downtown myself, and I know where I live, and we do basically live on a spring, so there is going to be water. Just how we mitigate that better. And a lot of it has to do with infrastructure. We've got old pipes and drainage there. So I'm going to really be pushing our public works department we've worked, I think Jeff Baines and his group, we all have a good working relationship. And so that's going to be one of the number one things. Sidewalks, to fix some of our sidewalks. And make sure it's more walkable. We've got a lot of schools that are in our downtown area that we need to be able to walk to safely for our kids and ride bikes. So connecting our parks may not be in all of my ward, connecting our city buildings to our parks and making sure that they work together.
Okay, we got to take a break right here. Camille Burdine is my guest, representing Ward 3 on the Lebanon City Council. We'll talk more in a moment here on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9. Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing has experienced new leadership and a new atmosphere. Same location in the heart of Lebanon, 731 Castle Heights Court on the Castle Heights campus. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing is providing 5-star clinical outcomes to short-term and long-term care residents. Call 615-444-4319 for a tour and to experience the new culture. Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing.
It's your first day in business, a new space, real investors, and butterflies the size of dinner plates. You could have an inspiration, make a difference, sponsor a Little League team. Anything can happen. And because anything can happen, that's why there's THW Insurance Services and Westfield Insurance. Whether your business is large or small, call THW Insurance, a Trilogy agency, and prepare for the unexpected.
Defensive drivers pay attention to their surroundings. They take precaution to keep their passengers and others on the road safe. We can all be defensive drivers during COVID-19 pandemic. Today, I ask you to take the necessary precautions to keep yourselves and others safe from COVID-19. Wash your hands, social distance, wear a mask, stay at home when you're sick. Living a cautious life doesn't mean that you live in fear. It just means that you care for others. Wilson County cares. This has been a public service announcement from the Wilson County Mayor's Office.
Coleman and Company, we welcome you this Thursday morning. And again, we've got Camille Burdine with us, Ward 3 council person. You've been having meetings, virtual or Zoom or whatever the word we want to use, but you're not there. Most of the time, it's one of those type meetings. Have you got adjusted to that fairly well?
I don't know that I'll ever be adjusted. I'm a relationship person, and I like to talk face to face. And you get distracted at home, I think, a lot of times when you're on the Zoom. But I think that we as a council and a lot of the commissions that are committees within the city have done a really good job to make the best out of it. And we've got great IT people that I think are doing an excellent job, too. Well,
Mayor Rick Bell was here yesterday and talking about the meeting on Tuesday night. And one of the things that he brought up was and I'm not sure y'all voted on this, but anyway, he made the announcement about sidewalks from about where Kroger is down to, I guess, the end of Badua Parkway, something like it, on both sides of the street. Is that good news for you, even though it may not be in your ward?
I work for the whole city. It is excellent news. that is something. We have a lot of people that walk. It's a safety issue. I think it's also a friendly issue that we want people to be able to walk. And a lot of people are exercising these days, and the more road they can accomplish, the better. So I'm very excited about that. I appreciate Rick and engineering and everyone that worked to that, and that was a grant. I think we've got a guy that's in our grant department that's doing an excellent job looking for those and helping our different departments, finding ones that meet their needs as well. So I'm very excited about that.
So he's still staying busy looking for that money that doesn't cost.
That's right.
Well, a lot of times
or
it's matching,
you
right?
know.
But a smaller percentage of matching to get that, and then it saves it. You can do a lot more when you have those.
Absolutely, you can.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, it'll be budget time before you know it, but I don't guess we want to get into much of that this morning. But as far as you're concerned, financially, we're doing okay.
We're in excellent condition. I think we have managed our money well. We've been very conservative with it, maybe too conservative in some ways. But really, this year with COVID, our city and our county, people are shopping at home. Sarah likes to preach that a lot, and we are shopping local, and it is making a difference. And hopefully, we can use that money to make a difference where things, our community can see. So.
Well, of course, the increase in the sales tax has helped a little bit too.
It has.
But it seems like we feared the worst, and really, as far as income from sales tax, we didn't experience the worst. I mean, it may have had a little dip, but that's about all it seemed to have been.
Yes, and we're growing, Coleman. I'm sure you hear it daily. I mean, people are coming in by the droves. So, we see all these houses and townhouses being built, and I know it's overwhelming to those of us that have lived here some time. Where are these people coming from to fill them? But they're being filled. So I think that, the increase of population is helping with our taxes as well.
And the fact that they are coming, and we've got to prepare for that. I mean, that does mean, generally speaking, more fire service, more police service. It means more people on the roads. The roads may need more maintenance. They're probably going to tear up a little sooner. That's just kind of the way it is. But hopefully they're going to be spending some of that money here and contribute to their being here and to the economy.
Well, absolutely. And in the last 2 years that I've been on the council, we've also increased funds to these developers, asking for impact fees that are a little bit higher. I think we've adjusted to our budget, looking more for the growth and preparing for that. And I know that Rick, one of his focuses, and I'm sure he talked about yesterday, will be our planning and our vision for our city. When you had asked me about Ward 3 and my goals there, again, we have a lot of businesses in my ward, and I want to do some things that can help bring businesses in, support the businesses that we have, which only increases,
One thing I have observed, and I go through the square, I don't know how often, but I'd say at least a couple of times a week, and maybe even more. I've noticed more parking in some businesses that, especially the restaurant there on the square, forget the name of it, but I've been there.
Town Square?
Okay. And that's probably drawing some. That when we have events at the Capitol Theater, people park there. But are there many vacant buildings on the square now? I haven't tried to count anything, but it seems like most of them have something going.
They do. I think we only have a couple that maybe one for purchase if they wanted to. I know that there's maybe one for rent, and then a couple that are being redone for other businesses.
Yeah, renovated.
Renovated. Yeah.
Well, there's just one or two of them I've been wondering what's going in or what's happening here, but I won't ask you that here on
well,
air.
That's a good question for Sarah. But I think we are doing a good job getting people here and getting the right businesses. I think we need to do some more visioning for that and making sure that our infrastructure, especially on the square with being so old, can meet the needs of somebody coming in and renovating and wanting to be here. So,
Well, one of the things y'all are called on to do all the time has to do with the zoning issues and what's going to be allowed somewhere. And somebody wants to put in a subdivision or maybe a great big multi-dwelling place. And I think the council pretty much has the final say on that, doesn't it? Doesn't it have to pass by you?
If they're having it rezoned, it sure does. I also sit on the planning commission. Lucky me, get to vote twice on something. It does. We need to tighten up what our zoning is and are, and if we're going to grant those rezonings. We've had a lot of people come in. Again, I do want to say this live, that the city doesn't own property. It's individuals that own property. And so we can only do so much to bring the right developers here and the right people here. And it's up to you as the individual whether you're selling your property to them or not. So,
but well, you have some hard decisions to make, and no doubt
do.
you have some. A lot of times, it's somebody that you've been here a while. You know the players, so to speak, a lot of them, and I'm sure you hate to hurt somebody's feelings, maybe if they're a fairly close friend or whatever, but then there is that obligation. I would think you'd think like this to do what you feel is right for the city and the community.
Well, I'm an elected official, and I think I was elected to make decisions and try to make educated decisions. So
does it weigh a lot on you, or you just well, this is the thing to do. I'm going to vote this way and go on, and you forget it, or does it linger with you?
It lingers. It lingers. And it's going to linger for history, some of the things that we have said yes to and some of the things that we've said no to, So it does weigh on me, and I do my best to talk with all the people that are coming in, and, anymore. It used to be all the people you kind of knew and the players, and we're getting a lot more outside people that you don't know as much about, but you want to make sure that they know what we are about. So I am big in talking with those developers before they even get to the planning side of things. I know our other councilmen too do that. They want to talk to who's coming in. I think we do our research on those developers and on what it is, and does it fit with what our vision is.
You think we're going to continue to have this the development building people coming here is going to stay about the same as it has been, say, for the last year or two, this coming year, or for the foreseeable future even?
I think so, but we're getting to the point where the land is not really affordable for developers. We get a lot of this, why are we have so many townhomes? Well, that's what the developers can afford to build after they pay what they pay for their property. We're running out of property. I think we're going to see a lot of growth in our south of Lebanon and north of Lebanon. We're running out of space.
Well, do you consider housing to be a problem necessarily? Affordable housing, I think.
I think we're about unaffordable. Yes. I mean, our rents. I mean, just for people to come in and rent. If you can find someplace for under $900, I'd like to know where it is. But it is a problem.
Well,
in some ways.
If you're a landlord, unless you got somebody that can't pay, and then you can't. I hate to say that, kick them out, or that's probably one of the biggest problems right now with some people. That
you can't even find rental if you want a rental house. So I think we're going to see some more rental property come up. What people are building. I know our past mayor, Craighead, is building, helping build some property back behind the cemetery. That's going to be some more rental, but it'll be interesting these next really 5 to 10 years. It will really determine what our city looks like and where we're headed.
Well, we are about out of time. We haven't mentioned recreation at all this morning. We still have that land out close to Stumpy Lane.
And that is in my ward
Okay.
so far. That's going to be another area of push for me. I believe in that park, in that recreation for our children, for our county as a whole. It is something that's needed. I think it's an area that we can bring in a lot of economic development money, with retail and restaurants. So I know that's on my top 5 list for sure, and I believe it is for the mayor and the council.
You think we're going to be able to, are we going to kind of do this piecemeal rather than all at once, or what's your idea on that?
Well, I'd like to see us do it all and do it all right. But I'm good about spending other people's money. So I will deflect that to, I think it probably will have to be in phases. But I
the
know
most important, probably, from what I've heard, and considering the airport and everything, is getting the soccer field set.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. They need an area that is theirs. And there's a lot of kids out there that need to run some energy off right now. So I think that soccer will be first, but also getting the plan together and getting the basics for that park. I know that there's a committee. They've been working hard. Unfortunately, with the tornado and COVID, it's kind of been put on the back burner. I see it coming to the forefront, and they're really going to be doing the investigating of where those funds can come. Some part of the tax money and the hotel tax money has gone to economic development, so I hope to see some of that money being pushed towards that park area.
Okay, well, thanks so much for being with us. We're out of
Thank
time
you.
here, but it's nice to see you, and hope things go well for you, and that you represent Ward 3 excellently for everybody.
Thank you.
All right. Camille Burdine, my guest. That is part 1 of Coleman and Company. Please keep it here for more. FM 98.9.
And it's 7:31. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks, Absolute Kubota and Rental. They have Exmark, large inventory of Exmark mowers for homeowners and commercial users. #1 selling brand, bought 2-to-1 over any other commercial mower brand. Located at 1506 West Main. Now at traffic. Here's Chuck.
Good morning. Traffic's picked up even more so here in the last few minutes on Vietnam Vance coming through Hendersonville. Coming down I-40 right now out of Wilson County into Hermitage still looks pretty good for the most part. 900 block at Gallatin Pike. There's been a crash over there in Madison in the last few minutes. They're still working with that wreck there at Murfreesboro Pike at OHB that did have some injuries. Check out the Andre Chicken Sandwich now available at Princess Hot Chicken, 5814 Nolensville Pike. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
71 degrees all the way.
73 degrees, please.
So what's your perfect degree of comfort? We'll help you find it with professional Rheem HVAC service that'll keep your home comfy year-round, save on energy costs, and may qualify for utility rebates and tax credits. So enjoy a new degree of comfort.
72 degrees, and I'm good to go.
Financing available through TVA's Energy Right program and your local power company. Call Randy's Heat and Air 237-3604.
It's going to be chilly out there today with highs only climbing into the mid-40s. Rain showers are in the forecast today as well, so keep the umbrella handy. Tonight rain showers continue, and after midnight I do expect some light snow showers to mix in as well. Little to no accumulations are expected, but if things change we will let you know. This weather forecast is brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. That's Look at Your Forecast. I'm meteorologist TJ Scott.
Get a few more. Coleman and Company, welcome to part 2 here on a Thursday morning. Heather Sadler Gallagher is on the phone to talk about the Pavilion Senior Living here in Lebanon. Heather, good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, and I hope you are too.
I am.
Well, what is going
we've
on?
Hit 2021 hit the ground running.
Yeah, we've been 3 weeks since we did a commercial like this for the Pavilion, and we got to get caught up quickly this morning.
Well, I will catch you up. We've survived the holidays, and we've had to do a little quarantining because we had an exposure, but no outbreak in our assisted living building. We have had several residents at our with COVID at our skilled nursing and long-term care rehab building. But so far, we're faring pretty well over there, and I feel like we've turned a corner finally, and we've got our all our residents and staff scheduled for the vaccine on January 11th. So I feel like we've done a whole lot in the past couple of weeks since I've talked to you.
Right. Well, that'll be Monday. You'll be doing that, I guess.
That's right. That's right.
Is that something you
lots of questions.
That's something you look forward to, or you just glad to do it and get it over with? Maybe both.
You know, I think I'm looking forward to it because I'm praying it's a light at the end of the tunnel for our residents, and that we can let people come back in and visit with them in their apartments and hug them and eat lunch with them, and our residents are ready to get out and about just like everybody else is. So I'm hoping it's a light at the end of the tunnel.
Well, we haven't mentioned your location, which I try to do each Thursday when we talk. 1409 Medical Center Drive is just north of Vanderbilt University Medical Center. And, of course, we tell everybody the easy way to remember this, if you know how to get to the emergency room, most likely, instead of taking a left there, go one street further, take a left. That's Medical Center Drive, and you'll find the pavilion down there on the right. And it's still looking good, right?
It is still looking good. We had some guys out there doing landscaping the other day in the cold, but just taking everything out seasonally. So it's still looking good. You can see us from the parking lot at the hospital, and so that's exactly how I tell everybody to find us. So I think that's one of the easiest ways.
All right.
We are open up to giving tours of one of our model units, and you know, this is the time of year everybody has spent time with their loved ones, and it's after the holidays, and they may have seen a decline, or they may have seen that they took some medicine, skipped their medicine, or took too much medicine, or weren't able to clean the house, and maybe they looked in their refrigerator and realized they weren't eating as much. These are the type of things that I'm getting calls about every single day. So we've got several families that have already called us and said, okay, we've got to make a move. We've got to do something. So it's not unusual at this time of year. Mm-hmm. So most everybody says, let's just wait till after the holidays. So our phones actually have been ringing off the wall. So which is a good thing that we're here to service them. I've always said that that's what we're here to do is service seniors any way we can. So.
Well, your telephone number is 615-444-5556, and that's the way a lot of people get in contact with you. But, of course, you've got your website, www.thepavilionseniorliving.com. So either way is fine, I'm sure.
Either way is fine, and give us a call, and we'll be glad to help you out. Or, like I said, if we can't help you out, we'll point you in the right direction. Yeah,
well, that's good to know as well. Well, glad to hear from you this morning. Glad things are going as well as they are. And if you do have a few availabilities, I take it.
I have a wait list in our memory care right now. We're completely full of memory care. But we have a few one-bedroom units that are open up, kind of scattered out throughout our community. Our new hall's kind of full, but we have a few one-bedrooms that are open right now.
Okay. All right. Well, give Heather a call, and she'll work you through it, and we'll talk again next Thursday, okay?
That sounds good. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Heather Sadler-Gallagher, Marketing Director for the Pavilion Senior Living right here in Lebanon, Tennessee. We're 22 before the hour. I've invited my friend Jack McCall to come back and jaw with me a little bit this morning, and he is here. Jack, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm glad to see you today, and we're always glad to have somebody to talk to, but I was thinking you and Ken Beck are really two of my favorite writers. Ken does a lot of stories for the Wilson Post.
Right.
In fact, he did one with you about a year ago. You have your own column that is actually in the Lebanon Democrat and the Post every week.
Yeah.
And I've learned a lot about you by reading your column, and I just love the you tell sometimes it's something that happened yesterday, and sometimes it's something that happened maybe 50 years ago. You've got a good memory. You grew up in a rural area of Smith County. You live over at Hartsville or somewhere over there now. I think your office is in Hartsville anyway.
Correct. Yeah.
What have you been doing lately?
Oh, well, COVID, you can hardly have a conversation without mentioning COVID, but you can imagine when meeting planners stopped planning meetings, business really changed for me. So all of my, starting back in March of this past year, all of my engagements were canceled and just started rebooking again. We're booking some things for the spring.
I didn't even mention that. Not only are you a writer, but you're a professional speaker, and you've been doing this for a long time. I think I read where you'd been in every state in the union, maybe given a speech in most of them.
Yeah, I've been in all 50 states over the last 20 years, and I've done this full time since 2000, so 20 years. But things are beginning to slow down a little bit. A lot of meeting planners are younger now, and they go for younger speakers. And plus the fact that although I always enjoyed traveling, it was getting to be a little more difficult and inconvenient.
This hadn't been totally devastating.
No, it hasn't really. No.
And you being a frugal guy, I'm sure you hadn't spent every penny you've made all the years.
No, and I have some other things going on. Yeah. I do some consulting work for a bank right now, actually, and some other things going on. So yeah.
Well, your last name's McCall, and you can't go hardly anywhere without seeing D.T. McCall or hearing it or something. And hey,
I was in the livestock marketing business in the 1970s, and whenever these old farmers would hear my name, and it happened time after time. One of them would walk up to me and say, "You ain't akin to D.T. McCall?" And I would say, "Yes." And he's been on my farm because back in the 30s and 40s, he literally took a mule team wagon and traveled all over Middle Tennessee. And then a lot of them would say, "And he wouldn't leave until we bought something."
Well,
so that was fun.
Yeah. Well, you've written some books, and they are available. How many books?
Well, I've written 5. I wrote a set of books called the Season Books, which has each of the name of the seasons in each one, which was really just a collection of the columns that I've written over the years. And then the last one I wrote is entitled Mansions in Your Memory, because I do have a good memory thanks to my mother. And so I recall all these things that happened even when I was a child. And I have been given the gift of being able to tell that in a way that's engaging. And so, as a matter of fact, over the years, I've sold a lot of books. In my business, in the professional speaking business, you do a lot of backroom sales because, if people like a speaker, they kind of want you to take you home with them, not literally, but and if you have a book or a CD, we've had really good luck with backroom sales.
That's sort of like singers who do tours. They always got their albums to sell.
Exactly.
And that's in almost any genre of music. Anybody that's doing that, so not only do you buy a ticket to hear them perform, and now in your case, the corporation, I guess, pays your fee, but they're there, and then you've got something to sell those who attend.
Yep. And I have, interestingly, a couple of places I have books for sale is D.T. McCall's here in Lebanon. If you stop by the store, I sell a lot of books through there. They just leave them out on the counter. And Cox Jewelers carries my books now, so you can get books there. But the easiest way is to go online on my website at jackmccall.com, and you can purchase books on my website.
What do they all sell for about the same?
Oh yeah, $10 to $12 depending on where you buy them.
Very affordable.
Yeah, if you email me at jack@jackmccall.com, I can really give you a deal. Hey, I can really, I can sell you a book.
What consumes most of your time? You said you're doing a little consulting, but are you busy? Are you kind of just working half the time? By the way, I've got this article Ken Beck did. Let me see if I can see the date here. This was January the 8th last year. So this is a year ago, and it's a picture of you. I guess that's in your office. Your feet are up on the desk. It's a great picture. But is that you?
That's on the porch of my office in Hartsville. Actually, what's keeping me most busy right now, Coleman, are grandchildren. You know, this school thing has really changed, and since the Thanksgiving holidays, one of our granddaughters has been moved to a different day. So now my children need a babysitter 4 days a week, and so my wife, who just retired this week, and I are kind of called to and the way kids study now is really different. You know, they're on Chrome and online, and
Can you keep up with all that?
well, I try. But when I help them with math, you know, one of them will look at me and say, "We don't do it that way anymore." And it's interesting. My granddaughters are always asking me to tell them about how things were in the olden days. And I'm not thinking that's that far back.
I get you, but still, you are a good storyteller. You must capture their interest awfully well.
Oh, they love for me to tell them stories too. They love to hear the stories, and I can remember my mother, who passed away several years ago, saying, "Now when I'm gone, everything I know is going with me." And so my granddaughters love for me to tell how things were when I was growing up.
But you and I have seen a lot of change when I was growing up. Actually, well, when I was born, I was born in 1940, and that's when electricity was coming to the rural area. In fact, before my father started working at Middle Tennessee Electric, he was wiring houses. He was wiring houses over in Hartsville and then over in Smith County at Riddleton, where I was actually born. And then about 6 months later, he got a job at Middle Tennessee Electric, and the rest is history. But I mean, electricity, people don't understand having just a string from the ceiling, a wire from the ceiling, and a light bulb.
No, they don't.
That's the way it used to be.
It really was. It was. I can remember every room in my grandparents' house had a drop cord, and you pull the chain.
Yeah.
And only one electrical outlet in each room. As a matter of fact, I only think of one room besides the kitchen that had an outlet, because we had an oscillating fan, you know, and in the summertime you left the windows up, and that fan was the only breeze you had.
Yeah. And I remember too, some people who were frugal. The Middle Tennessee Electric had a minimum charge, maybe $5 or something, and they wanted to make sure they didn't go over that minimum electric bill.
Oh, you walk out of the room, you turn the light off.
Oh,
you know,
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, my grandfather and my grandmother had a wood stove, and she preferred that. And I don't know how she regulated the heat. You know, she was just an incredible cook. But she could regulate the heat in that oven, you know, by throwing on an extra stick of wood or, you know, opening up a vent. And she did have an oven, but she only used it 1 month out of the year, and that was the hottest month of the year. It was either July or August. But other than that, she cooked on a wood stove.
Oh, I remember that too. I remember when we first got our electric stove. It was about the time World War II ended, and I've been slaving over that wood stove. Women, if they haven't experienced that, they don't know what work is, do they?
They do not. And you know, and back in those days with big families, cooking 3 meals a day took all your time.
Yeah.
All your time.
Yeah.
My mother used to say the reason the people in those generations were such great cooks is because they cooked a lot.
Yeah. Jack McCall is my guest. It's time for us to take a break. We'll do that and back with more in a moment here on Coleman & Company, FM 98.9.
And it's now 7:47. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Bates Ford, and they've got the lifetime brake pad guarantee. With the purchase of a brake service, replacement brake pads will be provided at no cost for as long as the customer owns a vehicle. Bates Ford, 1673 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. It's actually just now starting to get a little bit busy here at times 65 southbound at Trinity Lane. Not bad at the moment as we check it out live through Kingston Springs. Earlier it got a little slow there 40 east as you come in from Dixon County, working that Reg 900 block at Gallatin Pike. Just about through with that crash at Murfreesboro Pike at OHB that happened earlier with injuries. Check out the Andre Chicken Sandwich now available at Prince's Hot Chicken. You can order online, princeshotchicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
For the second consecutive season, your Tennessee Titans are in the NFL playoffs.
Okay. T-D-C-D, sack! Touchdown, Titans! Derrick Henry.
The Tennessee Titans NFL playoff action Titan style.
Brought to you by Steamlow Plumbing and the Jewelers.
LHS, Cumberland University, and the Tennessee Titans. The winning teams are on WANT 98.9.
It's a new year and new things at Bates Ford. Come check out our all-new 2021 Ford Bronco Sport, the new 21 F-150 on the sales side. On the service side, we've got the Works Vehicle Package, which includes an oil change and a tire rotation. Or you can visit us on the web at www.tonybatesford.com. That's Bates Ford, 1673 West Main, the dealer that will trade for anything that don't eat.
Defensive drivers pay attention to their surroundings. They take precaution to keep their passengers and others on the road safe. We can all be defensive drivers during COVID-19 pandemic. Today, I ask you to take the necessary precautions to keep yourselves and others safe from COVID-19. Wash your hands, social distance, wear a mask, stay at home when you're sick. Living a cautious life doesn't mean that you live in fear. It just means that you care for others. Wilson County cares. This has been a public service announcement from the Wilson County Mayor's Office.
Holy company, thanks for joining us. Jack McCall is my guest this morning, speaker, author, and I guess a down-to-earth guy. I'm going to describe you. You are pretty down-to-earth.
Well, thank you. I have my mother and dad to thank for that.
But I just love your stories and hearing, and I identify so much with that. And I've told you this, that I've experienced, done a lot of the things you have done as far as farm work and all that, but on a so much smaller scale. When you've only got 15 acres and 4/10 of a tobacco acreage and 2 cows and 15 head of sheep or something, that was, you just did things in a bigger way. All this farming you've written about, I love to read that.
Well, when thinking back to our tobacco crops, and we probably, there were some years we had 2 acres, and then there were some years we had maybe 10 or 15. But we always thought the first half was not so bad, but the second half killed us, regardless of how many acres we had. It was hard work.
It was almost a 13-month-a-year job. You are almost starting on the next crop before the old one finished.
I've got a couple of friends, older guys in Hartsville now, and we raise this virtual tobacco crop. We talk about it all winter, and so I sent word to one of them the other day we needed to be cleaning out tobacco barns and bundling up sticks. And they think that's such a joke. But, my dad always worked his plant beds on February 24th. That was my older brother's birthday. And regardless of the weather, on February 24th, he liked to sow plant beds. And
a lot of people won't even know what we're talking about, but there was, now, if you had a small place, you might have a friend that had a plant bed you could either buy or he'd give you some of his that he didn't use. But you back then you usually burned that. They started using chemicals later on, but you'd have a big bonfire and burn all that to kill as I understand it at least, kill the grass seed, the weed seed, and all that, so that the tobacco, when it first comes up, they're really small and they don't need weeds in the way there. And
it would be, the plant bed would be, I think, about 8 feet wide and maybe 100 feet long, and you'd put those plant bed poles down the side and the little nails, and you had the canvas with the eyes to hook. And my dad would always start early, and he's built fires to stave off the frost a few times when or double or triple the canvas to keep them warm. And then I'll never forget, my dad's big bragging rights were to go to the general store and say, "Boys, I got plants big as a dime this morning," the 2 leaves. Or, "Boys, I got plants big as a quarter." And the interesting thing, Coleman, was that we did what was called grazing a plant bed, which means you didn't just go in there and pull all the plants. You selectively picked them. And when we were finished, lots of times neighbors would come and get enough plants to plant there. My mother said a lot of people would draw plants like an old sow making a nest. They'd get out in the middle of it. She said when they got through it wasn't good for anything, but we didn't do it that way. We were my dad was a tobacco man. He loved the tobacco.
Well, it was a money crop for so many people for so many years, as far back as I can remember. And it, of course, there's some grown now, but it's nothing like it used to be.
It's almost a thing of the past.
And another thing, I don't know whether you did this or not, but the way it used to be, When I was 10 or 12 years old, it seemed like just about every farm, they had a cow or two, and they'd sell milk, and the milk truck comes and picks it up every day or two and takes it to Carnation or wherever. And,
Grade B, grade B milk, cheese milk, going to the cheese factory, and those milk cans, were they 10-gallon cans? I remember those young guys that could lift up those.
Yeah, I don't know how many, but they were heavy enough. I'll tell
Those
you
guys
that.
were strong.
Yeah.
And everyone had a milk cow. They had a veal calf that they kept in the barn, called them a stable calf. That my mother said didn't have a lick of sense because they'd never had seen the sunlight, and a lot of veal calves were sold out of this part of the world.
One I've read that you've written, your mother was really remarkable.
She really
individual.
was.
And I love to hear you read what you write about and hear you talk about her.
As a matter of fact, I'm working on a column now entitled "Things My Mother Said" or "Wisdom from the Past," and I was thinking about the situation with the election and what's going on in Washington right now. My mother would say, "It's an ill wind that blows nobody good," and that's true. That's true. But one of her biggest sayings was, "Son, every situation can make you or it can break you," and she was right. Prosperity can make you, it can break you. Hard times can make you or break you.
What would she have been like on a speaking tour?
Oh, I'd come home and tell Mother, Mother, I was in California this week and I had to speak for 3 hours. And she'd say, "How in the world can you talk for 3 hours?" But, she would always, and I've been in some fabulous places and pinched myself to say, what am I doing? In some of the finest hotels in the country, some of the most lavish resorts, and I'm a country boy, and I said, what in the world am I doing here? And I'd tell my mother, and I say, "Mother, I spoke for 30 minutes. You won't believe what they paid me." And she would always bring me back to center. She said, "Son, don't ever forget where your blessings come from."
Yeah.
She'd always remember, and I needed to hear that sometimes. She had a way of always bringing me back to earth. She was so practical, but she said, "Don't ever forget where your blessings come from."
You had some brothers. What do they do?
Well, I have 3 brothers. My older brother Tom manages the D.T. McCall store in Lafayette. My brother Dewey did most of the air conditioning duct work for McCall's for years. He's recently retired. And then my brother John still is a warehouse manager there with the stores. He retired from hog farming in 1998 when the hog market went south.
Yeah.
Then I have a sister who lives in Brentwood who's retired and worked for Gertner and Company and property managers in Nashville for years.
You ever really work for
McCall's? I worked one summer. One summer, of course, A.B. McCall, who was kind of the driving force with the store, was a great buyer. They were always, one year they bought all these air conditioning units from a hotel in Memphis that had gone bankrupt, and they had no installation kits, but they had air conditioners. And they would send us out to houses to install these air conditioners, and we just had to figure out how to make it work. There was a box called a hell box. It was a box that had one of everything in it. That's what it was called. And they'd send us out with plywood and cardboard and a wrench and one of these boxes of screws and everything, and we figured out a way to install these window air conditioners. That's the only summer I worked for McCall.
You mentioned that, the hell box, and I remember, did you ever know J.B. Leftwich?
Never did.
Colonel Leftwich up at Castle Lodge. Well, you've heard of it.
Uh-huh.
And he used to have a column similar to yours in the Democrat every week, and I remember him talking about that and what a fit his mother would have had she ever heard them call it that.
But that's what it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it, like I say, it had one of everything in it. If you needed, you figured it out. Anyway.
We got about 3 minutes here. We don't have time for a lengthy discussion, but as you mentioned what happened in Washington yesterday and what's been going on and all this disturb you?
Does it disturb me?
Yeah.
Yeah, it disturbs me. It was a no-win situation, I think, going into this election. It was going to be one of two extremes either way it went. Boy, things are changing fast now. I think we better hold on to our hats going forward. I was out I was thinking about this coming over this morning. Of course, I ride mules out in the Grand Canyon. I've done it a lot. Several years ago, I took my preacher out there. It's 2008, right in the middle of the recession of 2008, and we really didn't know what was going to happen. And we met a gentleman out there who was an almond farmer from California, and he was a member of the Brethren. The Brethren is a division of the Mennonites and the Amish. Okay. And so we were having a discussion about times, and this guy said, I'll never forget, he said, well, I'd kind of be worried if this was all there was. Okay. And, as I look at that situation in Washington, that's what I think. That's kind of what keeps me grounded. I'd kind of be worried if this was all there was.
Yeah, right.
I don't know that we can solve our own problems now. I don't know that they can be solved.
Well, what happened yesterday, I noticed the headline in Tennessean this morning said Trump supporters stormed the Capitol. I question that. I think the Antigua thugs are ringleaders there, but that's just my opinion.
So much of it's like a movie. So much of it's orchestrated now. I don't condone that at all, but there's more to what's going on than meets the eye, I think.
That's a good place to end that. We got 1 minute. Plug your books here a little bit.
Well, people my age, especially baby boomers and even the remaining ones, the World War II generation, love to read the story. Men read my books, because I talk about things that really happened.
Yeah.
I say sometimes it's hard to beat what really happened. and really, Coleman, I get more emails and more letters than you can imagine from people who say, keep writing what you write. Yeah. Keep telling us. They love to go back in time to the years when they had tobacco crops and hauled hay and those kind of things. And that's what I write about.
All right, they're available at DT McCall. I guess all the stores in Middle Tennessee.
They are.
You can get them. You can go online.
JackMcCall.com, or you can email me at jack@jackmccall.com.
Well, it's always good to have you. I hope it won't be too long till you come back again.
Well, thanks for having me. I always enjoy it.
All right. Jack McCall, my guest. That's it for a Thursday. Join us tomorrow for Coleman & Company. Till then, I wish you a tremendous